Hey, and welcome back for part 4 of the TFS Knife Maker Challenge Para Knife. 12C27 this knife is. You see I am marking the top of my handle, and then I always put a couple of lines on just so if you lose one mark you can always mark it up. Separating this part now and just moving the tape so I can permanently fix it. I always clean out anything before I glue it. You just don't want to be sticking to dust. To be really honest, it's never going to come apart anyway unless you had a ridiculous amount of dust. But why not stick to a clean surface if you can? Make sure I get right into the edges there where I fold that back, because obviously there's WD-40 and that sort of thing on it, and it really won't stick well. It's WD-40. I use G-Flex. I haven't been using G-Flex for that long, but it came up with a good price. A mate of mine bought something from America or something like that, and I thought I'd try it. I won't go back. Love it. Awesome stuff. Goes off in about 8 hours, but a bit of a trick with it. If you're careful, you can make it go off in about 20 minutes. Put it in direct sunlight or in heat, and it will go mentally fast. There's no need to put any colour in it, but you'll see me put colour in almost every glue I use. And it's just in case there's any sort of squeeze out, or in some resins you can see through the resin a little bit. It just gives you a blocked out colour inside. And also my joints are pretty good, but if you've ever got slightly imperfect joints, essentially it will hide them. Because I did all my finishing first pretty much, all I do is now make sure it's perfectly lined up, and that's all done by hand. So I'm happy with it, and it takes a little bit of time, but make sure it's right and then clean it up, leave it alone. I just come back every 20 minutes or so, use a little tiny bit of acetone on a cloth with a brass scraper behind it. Just clean my lines up perfectly. Spend all that time filing things and making sure it's exact. You don't want to then have glue hanging out all over the place. Because it's resin, I start like a 240 or wherever it is, and work my way up to 1000 or 1200, wherever you want to finish. It just cleans up any tiny imperfections where your joint is. You'd never know that it was turned and everything beforehand. Just etching my maker's mark here. I just use household salt in water. I know there's heaps of other stuff you can use, but I find this works perfectly. This is a product called Uncle Bjorn's Handle Finish. It's from Creative Man in Australia. I love this stuff. It's a resin, and you put an oil with it just to finish it off. This is TikTok. It's supposed to be a kids app, but I've been using it. I've had knife orders and stuff through it. I'm loving it at the moment. Just thought I'd add it here for fun. This is just a cheap $30 eBay diamond stone, 400 and 1000 grit. You can get much better stones which will get you a really high finish, but I use this and then a strop or bolster strop with a compound on it. Get a really sharp knife. You can get much sharper. I have just bought a nice 3000 stone which I'm yet to use, but we'll see how that goes. I'll leave it up to this good looking fella next to explain what I do with the stropping. Hey, g'day, and thanks for watching. I'm Toby, and this has been Toby Fire and Steel, and we've been making a nice little paring knife. This paring knife was a present for my wife, but it's also part of the TFS Knife Maker Challenge, which is a group that I started on Facebook. That's hashtag TFS Knife Maker Challenge if you want to sort of get involved on Instagram, or the TFS Knife Maker Challenge group on Facebook. It's basically a group where a load of knife makers get together, beginner makers and experienced makers. We pick a knife every month and we all make the same knife. Now, I'm a little bit behind. This is my entry for November. Paring knife, it was a Pierre Mefflin design. So if you would like to design a knife and see other people make it, please get along over to there. The last thing you didn't see on this was that I stropped this on balsa wood with a compound with auto sol. Works really well. I like it. Just sort of finishes off that 1000 grit. I only go to 1000 grit with most kitchen knives because I don't own any stones higher than that. I am, however, going to get some higher stones and see how I go, but I always find that my knives will cut through pretty much anything. So this is that bit of paper. Everybody loves the paper cutting test. It just glides through like it's not even there. Now, of course, this could be sharper. Do you want it to be sharper? I don't know. This is in the house with non-professionals, wife, children, so on and so forth. It's not the world's sharpest knife, but it's incredibly sharp. It'll cut through any vegetable, any meat, anything you like, and I'm really happy with it. If you've enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed these knives, I make lots of knives and I'll be sticking videos up here every week. Please subscribe. Please share this with your friends. If you'd like to do a build along with the TFS Knife Maker Challenge, please get involved. And you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, obviously, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, pretty much anywhere there's a social media. I'm there under Toby Fire and Steel. Where else? LinkedIn, pretty much everywhere. Thanks very much for watching. Uru.
Yes, yes, yeah. To the beach, and you don't stop. Yeah, fly with y'all, yeah. To the beach, wait. I met this girl when I was 12 years old. Give her everything, just shot of the world. Gonna get a grip every time. I tried to hold on, I slip deep in this feeling that gravity pulls me down. I know I'm tripping, I'm falling in love with her drum breaks. She keep me safe from the gunplay when I'm hungry. She feed my soul when I'm lonely. She keep me company. It's funny. I used to wanna grow older, travel with sight in these rounds. So they realize that she got me out of my mind. I'm trying to kick these nerves to grab hold to the microphone. Got him nodding along. Maybe she'll save the world for me. Maybe she'll right my wrongs if I'm coming on too strong. Oh well, only way to tell is by saying just how I feel, and that's real.